Welcome to Living Abundantly with SarahVie. I am so grateful to be here with all of you today. And today, I have some incredible news to share that's made this moment even more special for me and our entire team. I am overjoyed. I am beyond thrilled to announce that we have won a Telly Award. Yes, you heard that right. This prestigious honor recognizes excellence in television and video. And I couldn't be prouder to accept it on behalf of everyone who has been part of this journey with me. This award isn't just a trophy. It is a testament to the hard work, creativity, and dedication of our amazing team. Each one of them has played a vital role in bringing our vision to life. And of course, a huge thank you to our viewers. Your support and feedback have been invaluable. This award belongs to you as much as it belongs to us. So let's celebrate this abundant win together. Stay tuned because today's show is going to be a fantastic one. Here's to more creativity, more laughs, and incredible guests, and more Telly Awards in the future. So, as you know, I love interviewing inspirational people who make our world a better place. My next guest is exactly one of those people who are making a huge difference. Simone Gordon, known as the Black Fairy Godmother, is a community leader, activist, and philanthropist dedicated to uplifting marginalized women and families in crisis. She is the founder and CEO of the Black Fairy Godmother Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit organization established in 2020 to provide emergency relief, domestic violence advocacy, and empowerment to families facing systemic barriers. Yes! That's all I have to say is welcome to the show and sharing your story and showing up to the show in such an empowering way. Thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Oh my gosh, it is absolutely my pleasure. And I am, this is beyond inspiration what you do. And from my heart to yours, I am so excited that you're here and that you are someone who is really making a difference in this world.
Thank you.
So I'm very curious. I love your name, not just Simone, but also the Black Fairy Godmother. But I wanted to understand, what was the inspiration for calling you the Black Fairy Godmother?
Well, my mentor who passed on of cancer, Kimberly Rumberg, had put me back into school, and I wasn't supposed to be fundraising while being in math class during college, but I did. And it was a woman, many people were tagging me on social media. She was crying out for help. She went live in Maryland and said she was losing her home. Her name was Teresa.
Yes.
So Teresa and her daughter were being evicted, and they had by 12 p.m. to get $1,000. So I excused myself from math class.
And I love that it was math class.
It was
right?
math
Yes.
class. I excused myself from math class. I called her on Facebook Messenger.
Yes.
And I went and I did the fundraising. We raised $1,000 in 20 minutes and I saved her home. And people all over Facebook was chanting, "She's the fairy godmother. She's sprinkling fairy dust. It's not even shiny." And everybody was chanting the Black Fairy Godmother, and it stuck.
I love that. So in math class,
Yes,
you became the Black Fairy Godmother. I love that. So how can people get involved with the Black Fairy Godmother? Do you call it a foundation or organization?
We are a foundation. We are a foundation. We're a 501c3, and we've done a ton of work during COVID-19. Raised $150,000 one week, helping people who were hungry and people who needed housing. We do need a lot of volunteers. We have a lot of beautiful women like yourself who are volunteering mentorship towards young girls who are having it hard.
Yes.
I tell people all the time, you never know what your receptionist, your social worker, your security guard is going through. So treat people nice and, talk to them for 3 minutes because you could change their life.
Yeah, and starting it, with very young women. I love that. So let's kind of talk a little bit about DEI, diversity, equality, and inclusion, and the future of DEI, from your perspective.
Now we are struggling with, we have all these young ladies and all these beautiful women who want to go back to school who are ages 18 to 41.
Right.
Now they can't because certain companies decide to pull their programs in dollars and cents. So yes, we are going to give people emergency assistance funding, but after that, they need jobs. They need education to sustain themselves.
Yes.
I do vision boards for 3 to 6 months to get people on their feet and uplift them the same way women helped me. And since DEI has gone away, it's taken away from a lot of good people who just need that second chance.
So what would you say is the message you hope to convey to the broader community through your work and your identity as the Black Fairy Godmother? I love that.
It is okay to help. It is never a nuisance to help just for 2 to 3 minutes. There are a lot of great people out there that have made mistakes, but a mistake could turn into a positive outcome, and that positive testimony can change the next generation. We do need DEI, and we do need each other right now, no matter what our political views are. But right now, most importantly, is the upcoming generation need all the education and all the resources that we have right now to give to them.
Absolutely. So talk to me about the Purple Diamond Award. That it's a gala. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Yes.
So the Purple Diamond Gala, we have been doing it for approximately 7 years.
Yes.
And we recognize all of the good entrepreneurs, nonprofits, and some of our community heroes who are doing the work, but they never get their flowers. I want people to get their flowers.
Yes.
So you never know who's watching. I look at social media and I look at different people who are paving the way and who is beautiful, who deserve the recognition. And all of the proceeds will go towards 5 women who are domestic violence survivors and who need to either relocate or start their lives over. We ask a company or we ask a person to put a scholarship in their name. And that will be your legacy. You are putting a scholarship in your name as a legacy to help the next person get back on their feet. It's been successful. We have women who are welders. We have teachers now. We have 2 women who are nurses. And we just had a young lady who graduated from the University of Chicago. Yeah.
I love this. I love the stories. Thank you for this inspiration. But as we wrap here, what would you say is your most abundant word or phrase that best describes your life today because of the work that you do and offer to others?
It's beautiful being hopeful, but it's more rewarding giving someone a handshake. And what I mean by that is your handshake is powerful, and that positive energy can lead into other things if that person is going through something.
Love it. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for sharing your heart with all of us today. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Oh my gosh, my pleasure. We will be right back, so don't go away.
I am Simone Gordon, better known as the Black Fairy Godmother, and I'm living abundantly with sarahvie today. Sarah is magical. When you touch her hand, it's like a positive energy that pops out and goes straight to your heart. What a wonderful experience today. The people are wonderful, professional. What more can I say is I would love to come back again. This was the best experience I had in 2025. I was fabulous, and being the Black Fairy Godmother, the rainbow in the back of me, just sprinkling fairy dust everywhere, even if you can't see it. I'm the Black Fairy Godmother, Simone Gordon, and I am living abundantly today.
Before I introduce my next remarkable guest, who will be sharing her really powerful story. I'm excited to unveil a new and inspiring series I'm calling Living Abundantly Over 80. Yes, you heard that right, over 80. This series is all about celebrating the idea that living fully and abundantly doesn't have an expiration date. While society often dictates that life should look like as we age, the incredible individuals featured in this series are breaking the mold. They're living with purpose, passion, and vitality well into their 80s and beyond. And now I am honored to kick off this series with my next guest. Dyanforest was raised in the conservative suburbs of Boston. She became an international singer, but after 9/11 brought New York's entertainment scene to a halt. She unexpectedly found a new path in comedy. With her ukulele and bold humor, her one-woman show, I Married a Nun, landed her alongside legends like Seinfeld and Joan Rivers. Most recently, she performed 90 years of songs and scandal at Joe's Pub. I love this story so much, and I really want to celebrate your incredible achievement of your Guinness World Record, oldest working female comedian in the world. Woohoo! So how actually did you get into comedy in the first place?
Well, I was a French singer, international singer, for many, many years.
Yes.
And I made my living being French or Italian, Irish, you know, whatever you'd want. And
Right.
sometimes I'd get mixed up, but it worked.
And that was probably
It
funny.
worked, and people would recognize me. Aren't you
Right.
Irish? No, I'm French. So what happened was 9/11. 9/11 came along, and I was doing fine, but then all us musicians were out of work.
Yeah, right.
Because everybody in New York was sad.
Yes.
And people weren't going to country clubs to drink or anything.
Right.
So we were all out of work.
Yeah.
And it's not fun to be out of work if you've been performing your whole life. So it was about a year after 9/11, I played golf with Caroline Hirsch,
Yes.
who owned the Caroline's Comedy Club. I said, how do you get into comedy? So she put me in touch right away with a teacher, and I learned in 2 weeks what to do, and then I opened in a small little club. And I was petrified because I'd never done comedy before. There were 15 people there, 8 of them were my guests.
Okay, yep.
And so I started the first line and the second line, and then the third line, everybody laughed, and this was being videoed, and you can see I'm amazed.
Yes.
Oh, they're gonna laugh.
I love it. And you know, after 9/11, I'm sure we all really could use humor and laughter. Yes.
Yeah.
So, you know, your life has been filled with, you know, really a tapestry of life experiences filled with laughter and joy.
Yeah.
Best vibration. What are some of your favorite stories of your career, considering all the adventures you've experienced?
Well, one of them was I sing in Paris and do the comedy in French, and believe me, it's tough because you got to learn slang words, etc. in French.
Yes.
I speak French, but slang, of course, I'm pure. So then when I go and to be on France Got Talent, I had 8 minutes prepared, and boy, they put me on like late at night for the late part of the show because they had these little children, and then I go on and I do my 8 minutes in French. And there's 600 people there. 600 people there.
Wow.
And what would happen, it was just amazing. First, the left side of the audience laughed, then the next side, and then the next side. It was like a cascade of going around the room.
But I just want to point out, you were doing this in
French.
I mean, my gosh, my French is only good after a couple glasses of wine. You know, I can't imagine, you know, you doing it. That is amazing, amazing.
That to me was just unbelievable.
Yeah, and you're still performing today.
Oh,
so
gosh,
I want to ask you,
More
like,
than ever.
what is your next show? When is your next show? This is incredible.
Yes. Well, I just finished my 90 years.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to be 91, July 31st.
Well, you're 90 fun.
And I'll be 91 at Joe's Pub, and I'm doing a whole new show. But everything old is new again. I got filter fish out of water.
Wow.
I'm going to tell about my experiences from age 5 to 91 with, you know, what's going on now, the anti-Semitism, but in a very iconic, unusual, funny way.
You know, you are such an inspiration, because I'm actually trying out the comedy world. I'm trying things that kind of make me feel uncomfortable. That's going to be, you know, coming up soon, which is kind of scary.
Yeah.
But you know, this is such an inspiration. I love hearing stories, especially women or men over the age of 80. I love it. I love this. But what would you say is your most abundant word, you know, word or phrase that best describes your life as a 90-fun-year-old woman?
Life keeps getting better and more fun.
Yes.
More fun. I am performing now more than ever. I have more friends all over the world more than ever. I'm still walking the golf course. I'm swimming. You just keep going and don't stop.
So life keeps getting more fun. Yeah, isn't that inspirational? I love that.
Yes.
So this has been so much fun having you here. I can feel your joyful energy, and thank you for coming in here and making us all laugh.
Oh, merci.
Oh, merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup.
Yeah. So thank you so much for coming in and sharing this. And before we go to break, I would love for you to share a little of your music with us.
Thank you. I ain't 16, not a beauty queen, and my eyes are bagging and my skin is sagging. That's the reason you don't love me. Maybe that's not love. I ain't pretty either, and I don't care neither, and I dye my hair, not just here but there. If that's the reason you don't love me, maybe that's not love.
Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going.
It was so inspirational to have Dion here with us, and she is just defying society, what society claims as when we should stop working and living a fulfilled life. 90 fun years old, and she is still going and living her best life. So it's never too late. It's time to plan your next vacation. I love traveling, so I can't wait to hear these tips. Travel expert Carmen Ordonez is teaming up with Visit Florida to share unique summer vacation inspiration around the Sunshine State. Welcome to the show, Carmen.
Hi, Sarah. Thank you so much for having me.
So I'm really curious, what are some great destinations to visit in the summer?
Absolutely. Well, I'm born and raised in Florida, and two of my favorite spots is Greater Fort Lauderdale as well as St. Lucie. They both have stunning beaches and just so much to do. For example, if you're a foodie, Greater Fort Lauderdale has over 4,000 eateries, including Michelin-recognized restaurants. You also have stunning rooftops, craft breweries. There's a thriving arts and culture scene, as well as the natural beauty of the Florida Everglades, perfect for going on an airboat tour. Another favorite one of mine, St. Lucie. So St. Lucie is more of a hidden beach gem. They have 21 miles of pristine, uncrowded beaches, from the pet-friendly Walton Rocks Beach to the family-friendly South Beach. And this is St. Lucy's very own South Beach. And I feel like there's just so much to do. You can't go wrong with either of these two destinations.
So do you have any exclusive hotel deals to share with us?
Absolutely. Well, if you're visiting Greater Fort Lauderdale, you can get 15% off when you stay at the W Fort Lauderdale. You can also save up to 35% and receive 2 complimentary cocktails when you stay at the Pelican Grand Hotel. And if you're visiting St. Lucie, travelers that are staying 7 nights or more, they can get some extra savings there as well when they stay at the Lucie Hotel. So definitely check that out.
So where can we go for more information?
Absolutely. For more information, you can simply head on over to visitflorida.com.
Thank you so much for these excellent tips.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
And we will be right back, so don't go away.
To love what I do, and whatever it is that I went through, I don't regret anything because it made me who I am today.
And they have these really cute bath things. This one's called In the Buff.
In the buff,
So that
right?
you guys can use together. My goal has always been to push past whatever, either it's a self-imposed limitation, they think you can't do something, or me physically, I physically can't run.
Right.
So how do I live a life of abundance?
Yeah.
You know, they didn't say that there was necessarily a gender bias, but they said it was hard. They said it was too hard to get both degrees and make both fields work.
Right.
I feel like empowerment is really owning who you are. Every bits and pieces, like they say, warts and all.
Yes.
All of it. And owning your mess and understanding.
David Homan is the founder and CEO of Orchestrated Connecting, Orchestrated Opportunities, and Soar Connect, each focusing on authentic relationships and impactful connections. He hosts the podcast Orchestrated Relationships and is also an active classical composer and proud father of 2. Homan has built a global network that reaches into elite circles while staying true to his mission of purposeful community. So I am so happy to welcome you to the show, David.
I'm so pleased to be here.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
You are welcome. So I love the name, Orchestrating Community. I think of, an orchestra, working together in harmony. So tell me what orchestrating community means to you and why you chose to write a book about it.
I found myself in an endless amount of situations, Sarah, where I would be making introduction, one person to another.
Yes.
And when you do that one-to-one, your multiple is just 1. And the idea of orchestrating connections and the way to build real purposeful community is that same concept as an orchestra. You have a melody,
Also, yeah,
you have a
right.
harmony, but when the composer does that right, or an orchestrator does it, suddenly you have a 130-piece group playing in sync together. But you have to think about people the same way you'd think about an orchestra.
How does the music analogy work with aligning orchestrated connection?
So 2 different parts.
Yes.
Primary goal, find the right resonance
Yes.
between 2 people.
Yes.
When you then build a community from that, you have something that soars much greater than just what one intro to intro can be.
I love that.
The other part, and this is the more interesting part, you can think about the people in your lives the way you think of an orchestra. Some people like the percussion, come in and out, they're a loud bang, then they're gone. Other people are those strings that are always there, always constant. Then there's those people that just flute in, or they're an oboe, or they're the big brass.
I played the oboe.
There we go. So you
Yes.
take that incredible double reed instrument that is piercing, that can be sounded one oboe above an entire symphony orchestra playing. Sometimes that person is the one that told you something in a few lines that changed the course of your life. They might then go to another orchestra, another community.
So I've been reading about your 8 archetypes of connection, and I think reading that, I am the creative and also the living statue. That's kind of what I resonated most. Let's kind of go through quickly some of the archetypes, that you share in your book.
Absolutely. So there are 8 archetypes, and then the penultimate one, the 9th, which is the superconnector.
Right.
And the superconnectors are the reason I built my network. People who convene. Sometimes they're the leader in that.
Right.
Sometimes they're the person that just gets everyone in the room. They don't even need to be there. But then there's that more subtle type, that shepherd or shepherdess. Those are the people who never take the fame, never take the glory, but they're the reason the right people were in the room.
Yeah, and you kind of can, a successful connection is having all of the archetypes, would you say? Or, I mean, as many as you can working together in harmony?
So let's go back to the oboe
Yes.
and the orchestra.
Right.
That type of connector is usually one of three. They're the silent giver. That's the person who never takes credit for what they do, but they're the reason that your daughter got that interview to get the job.
Right.
They're the person that sends the anonymous gift to build a museum and launch the campaign.
Yes.
That type of archetype can be that type of oboe.
Right.
Other types like this, the one people call, think about that person, right? The joke in my social media is they have resting, compassionate face. But that's that person where you're sitting with them.
Right, right.
There's the other version and the negative one that people unfortunately have on this planet. That's the person you sit with and you can't believe you're pouring your heart out to. And it not only helps you feel better, but the connector of that then goes, you need to talk to Tammy. And it's the right intro from that active, deep listening. Another way people connect and convene, then creatives like you, like me, and then people who build, we create the worlds in which other people benefit by convening together.
Yeah, so the creator, I know, has kind of a calm, grounded presence.
Yes.
Do I have that right? And it is looked to as a leader. Would you say that? I mean, that's
so for you, I would say, because you identified yourself as the combination of being a creative and that living monument.
Right.
The living monument archetype is the person who's achieved success.
Right.
What they say resonates with other people. It has massive, massive ripple effects, incredible resonance. But by doing that, you always have to be at that level for everyone you meet, everyone you talk to. But that creative type in combination is fascinating because you're not just in a role. Don't just get a script. You actually create the world you need to be in.
Ooh.
Other people are inspired by it, or other people join yours.
Yes.
But the most important type for what would be your combo archetype is the type of ripple effects you have had in this world, not just for people getting a closer sense of their self, meditating and understanding that intention, but going back to that sense of being a child and thriving and how to reconnect with who we were when we were younger and more innocent.
This is fascinating. So what is your passion and which archetype do you most identify with?
I'm a superconnector.
Superconnector.
I embody all of these in different ways.
Yes.
And I tap into them when I need to maximize how I can help other people with no expectation in return.
So a superconnector has all the characteristics, or some of them.
So my co-author Noah Askin and I believe a superconnector should have at least 3 or more. And they are generally tapped into different roles for different people. You can't show up as a host and as a very known human in every conversation.
Right.
Sometimes you have to show up as somebody who's much more subtly listening. And so the more archetypes you embody, the more you're able to connect with different types of people who need us.
Nice.
Not everyone has to be a connector, but everyone can be. Once they understand the truth of what relationship value is in this world.
So interesting. I love all this, and that, this conversation has really been, eye-opening. But before we wrap here, I always like to end with my favorite question. So what would you say, knowing what you know, what would be your most abundant word or phrase that describes your life right now, being able to use all this that you write about in your new book?
It always sounds a little cheesy when you say it, even though it's probably also true. I believe that we can all make our life a symphony.
Oh, I love that. Yes.
It takes self-work.
Yes.
It takes understanding the community around you. It takes holding everyone to the standard you want to hold yourself to. But we can choose who is around us.
Yes.
We can choose what we accept in as behavior to elevate ourselves. And when we want to live a life with abundance, we have to do that with everyone around us, not just us alone.
Love that so we can all become a symphony. Thank you so much for sharing this incredible wisdom with me today. Thank you for coming on the show. It seems like this theme about connection is so abundant today. The 8 archetypes of what kind of connector are you? I love the fact that I'm a creator and I'm I think it was a statue or something. What I love about his 8 archetypes is, we are a super connector when we have 3 of the archetypes that he explains in his book. It will be available August 5th, so pick up a copy, but it is so important to kind of know who we are authentically.
It was such a pleasure to speak with Sarah. She gets it, not just with the world of convening, creating sacred spaces and bringing people together, but the way we can create a better life together by finding joy in it. Every relationship's an opportunity, not just to connect and to hear, but to be heard and find ways to elevate each other. I mean, the thing I learned was that the kitchen light behind the filming was just fantastic. I'm David Homan, classical composer and founder of Orchestrated Connecting, with the book coming out, Orchestrating Connections, August 5th. I'm here with SarahVie and excited to be part of Living Abundantly.
So, that is it for us today on Living Abundantly. For even more content and inspiration, follow us on my YouTube channel, Living Abundantly with SarahVie, and I will see you next time. Here's to Living Abundantly.
The proceeding was sponsored by SarahVie LLC.